Well, everyone, it is time for my annual Halloween month reviews. I started this back in 2016 and continued it a little bit in 2017, but I didn't get to finish it off. So, in the process, not only am I going to be reviewing some choices I picked for this year, I will be finishing off the videos that the list that I had from last year. And we are going to start with the remake and one of my favorite remakes, and that is, of course, 13 Ghosts from 2001. Now, 13 Ghosts is the remake of the original classic from way back in the day, if you've seen the original classic. I have not seen the original 13 Ghosts, so I'm just gonna have to point that out. So, basically, the plot of this movie, but before I get into the plot, I will say this is directed by Steve Beck. This was distributed by Warner Brothers, Columbia Pictures in international territories, and produced by Dark Castle Entertainment. This stars Tony Shalhoub, Matthew Lillard, Embeth Davis, Digga, Shannon Elizabeth, and yeah, like I said, this is directed by Stephen Beck. So let's get into, and also F. Murray Abraham. I can't leave him out. So let's get into 13 Ghosts. So yes, this what came out in 2001. So the plot of 13 Ghosts 2001 is, at the beginning of the movie, we see ghost hunter Cyrus Kritikos, who is F. Murray Abraham, of course, and Dennis Rafkin, who is his psychic assistant, who is played by Matthew Lillard, aka Shaggy from Scooby-Doo and Stu from Scream. And they lead a team on a mission to capture a spirit called the Juggernaut. In the process, several men are killed, including Cyrus himself, apparently. However, they are still able to capture the ghost and catch it. There's just one for this house. So then, through flashbacks, which you don't see but you do hear as the opening credits are going, we meet Tony Shalhoub's character Arthur, and he's basically a married man, and something tragic happens to his wife. I won't say what, unless of course you've seen the movie, and I don't want to spoil it. So he's taking care of his son and his daughter, and they have a babysitter. So one night there's this man, and he goes to where they live at, and he tells them that your uncle has this house, and I would like you to go and see it. So they go to the house, and everything seems to be fine and dandy, except there's just one problem. This house seems to have a dangerous agenda all on its own. They basically get trapped there in the new home by strangely shifting walls with ecto bars and Latin language. And there are 12 ghosts in this house, and they are the firstborn son, the torso, the bound woman, the withered lover, the torn prince, the angry princess, the pilgrimess, the great child, the dire mother, the hammer, the jackal, and the juggernaut. So basically, this other character named Kalina explains that the house is not a house, it's basically a machine, and powered by the ghosts that can allow its users to see the past, present, and the future. And the only way to shut it down is through the creation of 13 ghosts from a sacrifice of pure love. Therefore, the name of the 13 ghosts is the broken heart. So in order to save his children, Arthur will have to sacrifice himself as that broken heart, or let his children die, while also fighting off ghosts with the babysitter, Matthew Lillard's character, and Karina, pretty much. This movie, 13 Ghosts, one of my childhood favorite movies. I remember when I first watched this movie, I was scared. And this movie was pretty scary. Now, I know there are a lot of negative criticisms that are thrown towards this movie, and I will agree that the characters are not the best well written. I'll tell you that right now. The characters are not the best well written. Some of the flashes in most of the scenes is a little bit too in your face. But what the movie does excel at is the cool, creepy makeup on all the effects, on all the ghosts. Basically, I do love how the effects of all the ghosts are handled in this film. I love that did have DVD, and it lets you look at the ghost files, and you get to see each backstory with the firstborn son, the torso, the bound woman, the widowed lover, angry princess, torn prince, the pilgrimess, the great child, and the dire mother, the hammer, and the jackal, and the juggernaut, and they all have pretty sad backstories if you've seen DVD. Now, if I had to pick my favorite ghosts in this entire film, I have three. The Juggernaut, the Angry Princess, and, of course, the other one is basically the Jackal. Now, each of these ghosts, they don't play around. They will wait for you to get closer to the glass, and next thing you know, you either dead or boom, they scare the hell out of you. Pretty much. I like the production design of the movie. I like the design of the house. For $42 million, it's pretty serviceable for a horror movie like this. Nowadays, you can make scary movies for super freaking cheap. But I will say that the house looks pretty cool. I do like the details that go into it. I like how this movie is shot. It's shot very creatively, very fundamentally. I do like the music in this movie. You do have the song Excess by Tricky and Alanis Morissette, which will be heard again in another movie later on in 2002, which I'll get to. And that movie is basically Queen of the Damned. I was debating to interview The Vampire and Queen of the Damned, but I decided to just talk about Queen of the Damned. So, Interview with the Vampire will come later. The acting in the film is serviceable. Tony Shalhoub is great. Embeth Davis is good. Shannon Elizabeth is always nice to see her in the movie. Digga is the babysitter. I thought she was pretty funny. And I do like the song that they play at the end with basically her singing. F. Murray Abraham is pretty cool. Matthew Lillard always cracks me up. I love Matthew Lillard as an actor. I haven't seen him in anything else, so I don't know what happened to Matthew Lillard after Scooby-Doo 2, because I never saw him in anything else. An hour and 30 minutes, you don't have to wait for 2.5 hours for something to happen. And I think this is just a remake that gets a lot of unfair hate. It was doing its own thing, and I appreciate it for doing its own thing. So, despite some moments that I'm like, really? And a twist that and some characters that may not be the best developed. I do like the twist at the end. I do enjoy this movie. And 13 Ghosts will get an Epictastic. Let me know what you guys think about 13 Ghosts down below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? I will see you guys in the next video. This is Future Filmmaker 3940 signing out, and I hope you enjoyed the Halloween reviews.